What if I told you that some of the best NSFW AI art you've ever seen doesn't come from Midjourney, DALL-E, or any other premium tool? That's right. Despite all the hype around these paid generators, there's a growing group of free alternatives that don't just compete, they actually beat them in certain areas. And today I'm going to show you exactly how. We're talking raw image quality, customization options, feature depth, and most importantly, cost. Because let's be real, no one wants to spend $30 a month if a free tool can give you better results. By the end of this, you'll know whether you should keep paying for Midjourney or if it's time to embrace the free side of AI art. And spoiler alert, when it comes to NSFW generation, some of these free tools are in a league of their own. So let's kick this off the right way. Imagine this. You type in the exact same prompt into Midjourney, then into Stable Diffusion, Leonardo AI, SeaArt, and Tensor.Art. You hit Generate. The screen loads, and one by one, images start appearing. On Midjourney, you get that familiar polished look, but then Stable Diffusion spits out something almost indistinguishable from a high-end illustration, except it's completely free. Leonardo produces another variation, slick and detailed, with surprising accuracy. SeaArt adds its own community flair, and Tensor.Art gives you results without even needing a fancy computer. Right away you realize, these free platforms aren't playing catch-up anymore. They're standing toe-to-toe with the giants. Now let's take a step back and look at why this even matters. For years, Midjourney and DALL-E have been the poster children of AI art. They've been praised for their polished outputs, their easy-to-use systems, and their ability to make just about anyone feel like a professional artist. But when it comes to NSFW content, both are heavily restricted. You can't really explore that side of creativity on those platforms, and for many people, that's a deal breaker. Meanwhile, free alternatives like Stable Diffusion exploded in popularity precisely because they gave users full control. No filters, no limitations, no hand-holding, just raw generative power that you can shape into whatever you want. And that freedom, that's what makes this comparison so interesting. Stable Diffusion is the open-source powerhouse. Think of it like the Linux of AI art, completely free, endlessly customizable, and powered by a massive community of developers, artists, and hobbyists who keep building new models, new tools, and new techniques on top of it. Out of the box, it's strong. But once you dive into custom models from places like Civitai or Hugging Face, it becomes unstoppable. You can generate anything from hyper-realistic portraits to anime-styled illustrations with shocking accuracy. And because it's open source, the NSFW models thrive here. You want realism? There's a model for that. You want stylized fantasy? There's a model for that too. Then there's Leonardo AI. If Stable Diffusion feels a little intimidating at first, Leonardo is your friendly gateway. It has a slick, modern interface that feels polished, almost like Midjourney's. But unlike Midjourney, Leonardo allows far more freedom in what you can create. It doesn't overwhelm you with technical jargon, yet still gives enough settings for you to feel like you're in control. For beginners, it's one of the easiest ways to dip into NSFW AI art without feeling like you need to code your way through. SeaArt takes a different angle. It's community-driven, meaning a huge part of the experience is seeing what other people are generating, sharing prompts, swapping models, and learning tricks directly from creators. Think of it like DeviantArt meets AI, and because of that, you're constantly inspired, constantly challenged, and constantly finding new ways to use prompts. For NSFW creators, that means you don't just generate in isolation, you generate alongside a global creative community pushing the boundaries. Tensor.Art solves one of the biggest headaches in AI generation: hardware. Running Stable Diffusion locally requires a decent GPU, and not everyone has a gaming rig or a workstation ready to crunch AI models. Tensor.Art is cloud-based. You just log in, paste your prompt, and it generates on their servers. That means you can experiment from any device, even a basic laptop. Sure, it has credit limits, but compared to paying for a Midjourney subscription, the flexibility and cost efficiency are hard to ignore. And then we've got Automatic 1111, the web interface for Stable Diffusion that has basically become the gold standard. If Stable Diffusion is the engine, Automatic 1111 is the driver's seat. You get every control imaginable. You can adjust sampling methods, play with negative prompts, fine-tune outputs with ControlNet, in-paint, out-paint, batch, generate dozens of images, and even automate your workflow. It's a playground for anyone who wants maximum control over their results. And while it might look intimidating at first glance, once you learn the basics, it feels like you're holding the steering wheel of a Ferrari. But here's the real test: quality. Let's talk results. Using the same NSFW prompt across all platforms, you start to notice clear differences. Midjourney is polished, no doubt, but limited. You can't adjust body poses with precision, you can't easily fix anatomy issues, and you definitely can't push beyond its safe boundaries. Stable Diffusion, though? With the right model and a well-written prompt, it generates images so detailed you can count individual strands of hair, see the light reflecting off skin, and capture expressions with eerie realism. Leonardo impresses with speed and accuracy, often matching Midjourney's clean finish while still giving more freedom. SeaArt and Tensor.Art shine with accessibility, proving you don't need to pay or own expensive gear to produce high-quality images. But it's not just about what you see on the screen, it's about how much control you have over the process. This is where the free tools crush the paid ones. ControlNet, for example, lets you dictate exact body poses by feeding in reference images or stick figures. Want the character's hand tilted a certain way? Done. Want the head turned at a precise angle? Done. Midjourney can't touch that. In-painting and out-painting are another huge advantage. If Midjourney generates something off, you're basically stuck. With Stable Diffusion, you just select the flawed area, regenerate it, and fix it instantly. You can expand images beyond their original borders, create full scenes from a single portrait, or rework specific details without starting over. That level of flexibility is priceless. And then there's batch generation. Imagine creating hundreds of variations overnight while you sleep, ready for review in the morning. With the right setup, Stable Diffusion can do that. You just set your prompts, parameters, and output count, and it churns through images automatically. For NSFW creators producing content at scale, that's not just useful, it's game-changing. Now let's tackle the elephant in the room: cost. Midjourney starts at $10 per month, with the standard plan at $30 and higher tiers for more usage. For casual art, maybe that's fine, but if you're creating NSFW content, paying that monthly fee doesn't give you the freedom you need because the platform restricts it anyway. Stable Diffusion is free, but if you run it locally, you'll need hardware, a good GPU, ideally with plenty of VRM. If you don't have that, you might pay for cloud credits on sites like Tensor.Art. Even then, the overall costs are usually lower than a Midjourney subscription. Leonardo has free tiers with limits, but they're generous enough for casual use. With free tools, once you get the hang of optimization, you don't need to pay recurring fees. You're investing in knowledge and workflow, not subscriptions. Community support is another underrated factor. Midjourney has a vibrant Discord, but its strict rules limit what you can share. In the Stable Diffusion and SeaArt communities, people share everything: NSFW prompts, custom models, fine-tuned weights, workflow hacks. You're not just generating alone, you're part of a knowledge exchange that constantly evolves. And because it's open source, Stable Diffusion isn't going anywhere. Even if one site shuts down, the community carries it forward. That kind of long-term viability gives creators confidence that their skills won't suddenly become obsolete. So, what's the takeaway here? If you're only creating safe-for-work art and you love polished results with zero effort, Midjourney still has a place. It's fast, it's easy, and it looks good out of the box. But if you're an NSFW creator, or simply someone who values control, customization, and cost-effectiveness, the free ecosystem is the clear winner. Stable Diffusion, Leonardo AI, SeaArt, Tensor.Art, Automatic 1111. They don't just challenge Midjourney. In many ways, they've already surpassed it. And the beauty of it all is that you don't need to pick just one. You can combine them. Use Leonardo for quick drafts, Stable Diffusion with ControlNet for fine-tuned details, SeaArt for inspiration, and Tensor.Art for when you're away from your main computer. It's a toolbox, and the more you explore it, the more powerful your workflow becomes. At the end of the day, AI art is about freedom. The freedom to imagine something and see it brought to life. Midjourney offers a polished version of that freedom, but only within strict boundaries. The free tools tear down those walls, handing you the keys to experiment without limits. And when it comes to NSFW, that freedom makes all the difference. If you're curious to try these tools yourself, I've included all the links in the description. Explore them, compare results, and figure out which one feels right for you. And if this video gave you some insights, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment about which tool surprised you the most, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of AI. Trust me, this space is moving so fast, you'll want to stay updated. The battle between paid and free tools isn't just about money. It's about who gives you the most creative control. And right now, the free side is proving that sometimes the best things really do come without a price tag.